Sisters Talk Show. I am your host, Becca Wilson. This show was created to deal with topics and issues that women are facing today. Whether you are married, single, widowed, or divorced, this show is for every sister. Please be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and every Tuesday on our Married Sisters YouTube channel at 12 noon. If you like our show, please subscribe, like, and share.
We are sisters, married sisters, living our best lives, being blessed wives with our misters. We are sisters, we are married sisters.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Married Sisters Talk Show. I am your host, Becca Wilson. Today we have a very special topic that we are going to want to talk about today. I have two lovely guests here that are wanting to talk about dealing with sorrow. We know the scripture that earth has no sorrow, that heaven cannot heal. And so we have two sisters here that's going to tell us about their testimony, their personal testimony of healing, of losing a loved one in their lives. And I want to welcome my sisters. I have Minister Phyllis Dodson. I want to welcome you to Married Sisters. She is married to Ransom Dodson Jr. and together they minister at Lamb's Healing Ministry. They have 3 lovely children and she is a grandmother. And so I want to say welcome, Sister Dodson. I have next to Sister Dodson, my own blood sister, Tabitha Watkins. She's married to Elder A.C. Watkins, and together they minister in his ministry, A.C. Watkins Ministries. She has 2 beautiful daughters, and she's going to be sharing her story with us as well on today. And I want to say, Tabitha, welcome. And to my left, I have my returning married sisters with me on today, my sisters, my friends. I have Marche Shea Davis. She is that self-publishing author of her book, The Cussing Christian. I'm married to her husband, Joshua, for over 5 years now, and they have a lovely daughter. I have to my far left, returning today, is Sister Latoya Williams, married to Michael Williams for 17 years. They have 2 beautiful children and her beautiful dog named Milo. And I want to say welcome my sisters back to the show on today. I do want to give a shout out to both of you guys for your commitment for our first season of Married Sisters Talk Show. I definitely appreciate you guys and your dedication to Married Sisters. Can't thank you enough. Okay. So we like to start our show, even though we have visitors on the panel today, but we love to start our show with viewer questions. We do appreciate viewer questions. If you have a question or a comment that you want to leave for us, or for us to try to tackle, I do want to say that we are not professionals. We're just sharing our stories, giving our opinions. We're not experts. But however, we do have 2 questions. And if you do want to submit those questions, you can do so at marysister@gmail.com. That's marysister@gmail.com. Now for my first question, I'm going to go ahead and read that. It says, my husband and I are friends with another married couple. We were recently out at a restaurant and saw Mr. Unfaithful, quote unquote, having lunch with another woman. Seems pretty innocent, so why am I writing this? Because they were sitting in a booth, hugged up, laughing, and very, very flirty with each other. As a friend, I want to tell her about what my husband and I both witnessed. I have been bothered by this, and my husband feels that we should not get involved and mind our business. I love the show, by the way, and very curious of what you sisters think about this situation. Says, should I or should I not say something? So, which one of you lovely sisters want to take on that question first?
Wow, there's a lot there.
It is. It is.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot there. I mean, I think you really have to evaluate the relationship that you have with the other married woman. If this is your good friend and you all have deep history and you know her and you feel like you can take this information to her and she knows that you're not coming for her, you're trying to attack her marriage, I would say share that information. But if you do not have that level of friendship, if you have not developed that level of intimacy with this other woman, I would take the advice of your husband and kind of stay out of it, because it could completely backfire in your face that you're taking information about her marriage to her. I've had this situation happen before where I thought I was doing the right thing and I lost a friend over it because she already knew what was going on in the first place in her relationship, and she was fine with compromising and staying in a relationship because she was getting other benefits. So I lost a friend as a result of sharing information. So again, really take time and evaluate the level of intimacy and friendship that you have with this sister before you take that information to her. That'd be my thought.
Wow, what kind of friend was that?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I mean, people have different motives of why they're in relationships. You know,
that's
for
so
some
true.
people, if there's financial security, he can do what he wants to do.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Not in my house. Okay. Marche, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I love Sis's perspective there for sure. Her and I were just actually talking through it for a little while. But my perspective would be, and I am a millennial, so we're a little different. We have our phones. So if that were me and I seen one of my sister's husbands out, I'm just gonna take a picture and I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna let her deal with that, just so that she has the proof, and so she can do with that what she wishes. But at least I was able to capture them in the moment, so that I wouldn't have to explain like, oh, I saw so and so, or they were doing. That's just too much. Let me just take a picture, and you have the picture, and I've done my due diligence. Now you do with that what you wish, because for me at least, I would want the same thing, done for me. I would want my friend to not just turn a blind eye, like, no, just take a picture. Send it to me. Let me see with my own eyes what you saw. Don't just tell me in detail. Let me see what you saw, and then I'll deal with that accordingly. So at least that's the way I would want to be supported by my girl, by my sister. Don't just see nothing and not say nothing.
I know that's right. So we take that picture and say, who this woman? Who this woman? Do you guys have any comments you want to share on that?
Now, I was thinking about from a perspective, this actually happened, where this husband was unfaithful and it got out. And my husband told the man to go home and tell your wife. And I heard this conversation. My husband was real stern, but yet in compassion, towards the man. He said, go home and tell your wife before somebody else tells it, and then it's going to be way worse. And so my husband made him accountable. And so after he went home, he told his wife, then he calls my husband, in tears and stuff, because it hit, and it hit hard. And so, and what we did as a couple, we prayed for them and we covered them in prayer, and until this day, they're good friends. So
that's good. Hold them to accountability. That's real good. That was good.
Because it's like, am I my brother's keeper?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because his soul was at stake.
Oh yeah.
And not just his soul, but her soul as well. So.
Okay. Yeah. That's good, because the accountability piece is what I was thinking about it on there too. Sister Dodson, what is your take?
If it were me, first of all, it would have to be my good friend. I have a best friend. And if it were her and her husband, I would tell her. But because I know what type of person that she is, I know that, and plus I would be there for her to help her through that hard time. If it was someone that I wasn't real close with, and I don't know if they were, if I was to tell them if they were weak. And like you said, things could happen in their relationship, lives fall apart. So you have to be careful. You have to know who you're dealing with. I know you think, well, why would you tell? Because I would be there to tell as far as being a counselor. You know, I saw so-and-so with so-and-so, and I just wanted you to know and let that person know that things do happen. People do things that they shouldn't do or they should do, and, you know, try to walk her through the process. Like I said, if she wasn't like my best friend, that spiritual, I wouldn't say anything but keep praying and watching and being there for her. And when I see, you know, some behaviors that show something is going on, just be there to offer the helping hand. And hopefully, you know, what you do in the dark, brothers, it comes out in the light. And so it will eventually come out. I understand, let's say it like that, her husband saying, don't say anything because you don't want to stay out of people's business. Now, if it were my husband and I, and he told me not to open my mouth, and you know we can really open our mouths sometime and talk, and even if it's my best friend, and he would say, like, Phil, that is not your business, stay out of it, then that way I would be released to keeping my mouth shut. I would be mad, but you know what? He's a man of God, and men see things differently, and they handle things differently. So, you know, that's what I would say.
That's really good responses. I'm kind of going both ways on it. I had I just remember I was involved with a church, and I didn't know how to really deal with this, but okay, so I had seen a gentleman that was out, and I knew his wife. We were really good friends, and I was a little nervous because I'm thinking I'm not gonna get involved with that, because I was thinking, like, as a single woman, sometimes they may flip or something. And I'm like, it was just, I just couldn't do it. So I opted not to say anything. But in this particular situation, I kind of agree with what your husband says. Mind your business, just because you don't know the dynamic really of their relationship. And so it might be best to just not say anything, but of course pray. And I do like, you know, if the men are really close, that accountability piece is really key, as I assume. But me personally, I don't think that I would share it, because when I was faced with that, it was like 20 years ago. I was younger, and I was single, and I kept looking at this guy where he was trying to talk to me and stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, don't I know you from somewhere? And when it dawned on me, I was like, from church. I know your wife. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So I didn't say anything. And then I remember another situation. I was out of town with some friends, and I'd seen a brother that was married, and I really knew them, and it kind of pissed me off. So what I did, after observing him for a while, I just went over there and spoke. I'm like, hi. How you doing? You in a whole nother town. You know, I'm down here on vacation. And I'm like, so it can be disturbing, but also in that situation, I opted not to say anything. Even though I seen him out, I thought maybe if I show my face and he knows the relationship that I had with his wife, I thought maybe that would prompt him to say something on his own. It didn't. So when I was out at another event, we were at dinner at a mutual friend's house. She cornered me like, my husband says you seen him out. And I'm like, yeah, I did. And she gave me that look like, you got something you want to tell me? I just smiled. Yeah, I did. Pass those biscuits over there. Because it was like, I did not want to get involved with that situation. I mean, it just, Oh, I mean, that's a sticky situation. I think your husband is using some wisdom there to just not get involved because it just drags y'all into the middle of it. But I do like my millennial right here. Take the picture, maybe. Send it anonymous. I don't know. but some kind of way, I wouldn't get involved in it. That's just our opinion. So I do have another question from a viewer that we were wanting to talk about as well. This one's a little lengthy, so I'm gonna read the whole thing. I'm gonna read it. It was a blessing to go on YouTube for your recent series, May I Speak. The trauma-related content was really informative and an on-time message for me since I just found out that my kids are exhibiting behavior related to their traumatic childhood. I just learned that my kids, stepkids, that I am raising as my biological children are not bad kids. They are kids and bad things happen to them. I am completely overwhelmed at this plight to parent two children with special needs. I thought I was raising normal children, but I am not. I love these kids, but every day is a struggle. They are both behind their actual age in development, emotions, and judgment. My husband seems to have lack of any interest in the children, and all responsibilities fall on me. He has a biblical view on traditional roles and believes child-rearing duties should be left up to me, especially since I do not work. His choice, not mine. Sometimes I feel a lot of resentment towards him. I didn't even make these children, and now I have to bear the brunt of their burdens. I contemplate divorce constantly as a way out of this situation. Other times I am mad at God for placing me in this family. Do you ladies have any advice for a mom that is on the brink of a breakdown? And she has help. Okay, sisters, who want to take on this question first?
If it's okay with,
Go
you
right
ready to
ahead.
say something? Okay.
Who's gonna go?
It's a lot.
It is a lot. First of all, one thing I wanted to say, you said you're mad at God. Don't be mad at God. He knew, and he knows everything. He knew what you were going to be in. You're the one that's surprised. He's not. And some kind of way, you've got to learn how to trust him no matter what the outcome is. God's not surprised by what we're going through. He knows what's going on. I think that your husband, I may be wrong, but I think that he sees what's going on. And sometimes you get in a situation where you see what's going on and then you rather not deal with it. And that's where I think he's at. And I think that he sees that you are a good woman, because evidently you are, because you are raising those children as your own. And I'm sorry that you see something that came out later, but I think that you are probably good for them. But I understand you not wanting to deal with the situation. And I think, again, you need to talk to your husband about how you feel, and not let anger and bitterness grow in you, because then everybody else gets a part of that bitterness. I think that what you do need, if you're in church, you got a pastor. If you got good friends, you could talk to them. If you got a sisters, you could talk to them. But let's keep it real. There's professional help out there. And there are people there that can help you get through this situation. I know, and I may be going ahead of myself, but I know when I had to have counseling and I didn't know the person, I would go in and I said, look, we're getting ready to get this party started. I'm getting ready to show you what I'm made of. And I would go in there boo-hooing. They didn't know me and I didn't know them, but I just went on ahead and told them everything that I was going through. Sometimes that is a release for you. Even if you talk to your family doctor, sometimes they'll say something that'll spark something in you, and you can just kind of unload like that. I say seek God about leaving, but know that He understands what you're in. And believe it or not, if you love your husband and if you love your children, I know you don't like the situation, but if you love them, you know, you need to think about if it's worth staying in and asking God to give you the strength to go through it and help you not to have a, bad attitude. And I know that's easier said than done because I'm not in it, but that's just the way I see it right now. You need some help, and there's help out there for you.
Yes, that's very good. Who else? Let's just want to take on that question. Got a comment?
I'll go. I got something. I'm just thinking about this out loud. Just two scriptures coming to mind. Two scriptures that I love. Proverbs 19:21. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but God's purpose will prevail. And so in that situation, when we're in situations, just as women, our desire can naturally be to just act out of emotion, right? And so when I'm in situations where I'm just acting out of, or want to act out of emotion, I have to just go to God like, okay, Lord, I have a whole bunch of plans. But what is your plan for me? What is your plan in this particular situation? Because I know my plan is like, okay, I just want to leave, or I just want to say something, I just want to do something, So in that moment, just choosing to seek God and really leaning into Him to figure out, what is your plan? Because your purpose will prevail. So that's definitely a scripture, I would urge you to just really meditate on and just really seek God's guidance on that. And secondly, I love how the sister mentioned, just talking to your husband. I feel like sometimes as women, when we get married, we feel like marriage means we're just supposed to shut up and just let stuff happen to us or let stuff be said to us, and we just become submissive because church doesn't teach us the actual definition of what it means to be submissive. Submissive doesn't mean just shut up and take whatever, So in this situation, my heart goes out to you because I've been that woman who thought that I need to just zip it and don't say anything and don't make him mad. But Exodus 4:12 tells us, so go, I will be with you when you speak. I will give you the words to say. And so that's God telling us, He's urging us to go, daughter. And so in that time of just being in prayer with God, really asking God, like, what am I supposed to say? Because He doesn't want you to just sit there and harbor bitterness and resentment, because I've been there before. And I did not like what was going on in my heart. And so I had to really see God, like, what do I say? Because I don't know what to say, And so getting God's permission, getting God's guidance on, okay, daughter, like, this is what you say. This is how you say it. And it doesn't need to be an argument, though. You say what you need to say. Your feelings need to be heard. It doesn't need to be a situation where, the other person, in this case your husband, is putting you down or downplaying the emotions that you feel, because your emotions are your emotions. And you're entitled to feel however you feel. And so nobody is qualified to tell you that you shouldn't feel that or you can't feel that, because that's inappropriate. And so I just urge you to just get in God's face so that He can give you the words to say, because you definitely have to have a conversation with your husband about that. You can't just harbor that. Harboring resentment will take you to a place that you don't want to be. And just hearing, some of the stuff that you said, you're angry, rightfully so. But that is just going to deteriorate, your health, your body, your just mental well-being. It's going to hurt you so much, So I urge you to just get with God, figure out what God needs you to say, and then let God just give you the strength that He promises to give us. He tells us in Isaiah 58:10, I will guide you always. I will satisfy your needs in the sun-scorched land. I will strengthen your frame. So He promises to give you the strength. So seek Him. He'll give you the strength. He'll give you the courage to talk to your husband, because the conversation needs to be had. Because it's my belief, at least in my marriage, my husband knows we are partners in parenting, partners in working, because I like to work. I'm not just going to be a housewife. That's not what I enjoy. Not to say, that's a bad thing, but me, I like to go to work. I want to do something, so in everything we're partners. And so it didn't start that way. I had to be very vocal and say, well, this is what's going to happen. This is what you're going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And we have to come to some type of middle ground, because I'm not going to be bound by bitterness, because, if I'm carrying the weight of just raising the children or our child, and you're just chilling and sleeping and watching TV, something is wrong with that picture. Right. Like, that should not be the normal. And I feel like just as Black women, we've seldom been given the permission to just do what you need to do, but you don't have to just be a mom. You don't have to just be a wife. You don't have to just do more, and they just get a pass. That's inappropriate. I don't believe that's God's plan for any of us, to just shut up and let them just do whatever, and you're exhausted. That's not the God that I serve. Just want us filled with exhaustion and anger, because the kids don't need to see that. And so you have a duty. God has put a lot in you. So now it's time to tap into it, my sister. God he's giving you everything that you need. So just build up that courage that he's put in you already. Take God with you to have that conversation with your husband. Sit him right next to you because he's everywhere all the time. And just let God's words just move through you. But a conversation definitely needs to be had. So my heart goes out to you. But I know God is definitely going to work it all out. So that's my piece.
Yeah. I definitely think that's a great answer. I mean, I think both of these answers have been phenomenal, and it sounds like strategy is what I'm hearing from both of the conversations. And when I first initially read the question, the first piece that resonated with me was more about the kids. You know, as a stepchild myself, I know what those children, I don't know what trauma they've experienced, but I know what it feels like to feel like you've been dropped or left by a parent. You know, so I do believe, as Sis said, that you were specifically chosen and designed to be a component for these children. And if you love them the way that you say you do, unfortunately, in the blending of a new family, there's got to be a little bit of suffering and a little bit of rough time to make that perfect strategy come together. You know, so my heart is truly thinking about the children and what you can do to not further damage them. Because if you were to walk out now and to leave them now, what would be the repercussions for them down the line without having that firm mother figure or someone else walking out on them and abandoning them, especially if you are that primary caregiver. The second thing that I thought about was you need an outlet. You know, the fact that you have not been allowed to work, that's the first thing that like really struck me. Like, you need a second, like just a way to get out. You know, I think that we've all kind of experienced maybe cabin fever and like stir craziness during this COVID time. So if this has been going on for a long stretch of time without you having the ability to interact and be out and feel a sense of independence, that's probably further contributing to the sense of bitterness that you feel, because you feel like everything is dependent on what your husband is bringing into the household. So I would think about it, you know, have that conversation. You said that it was his decision for you not to work, but have you guys had that conversation? Have you discussed with him, you know, the potential of just maybe doing something part-time? It doesn't have to be full-time. Just get yourself out there. Maybe it's not even working. Volunteer, you know, just getting out, being amongst people, having regular conversations where your whole life is not built around the structure and the running of that home. That might give you a little bit of relief just doing that, just getting out of the house. So my heart is truly with you. I think that what these sisters have said is just some great advice, but really, truly, again, think about those kids, because every decision that you're going to make, and not to put any type of pressure, but the decisions that you're going to make could have future implications on the mental stability of these children. So I would really take some time, and as we've heard, is seek the Father, so that the strategy just doesn't benefit you, but it benefits the kids. You know, as a mother myself, you know, there are some hard days where, you know, like you're like, shoot, dang, but there's no way that I would ever leave my babies. You know, there's nothing that they can do. There's no illness, there's no mental illness, there's no crime that they could ever commit. So I love them that much. I would go through hell and high water for my babies. So if that's truly the love that's in your heart, leaving them is never a part of the equation, you know, as a mother. So those are just the things that I think.
Amen. Very good, very good. And I would like to say, my thoughts were, get an outlet. It sounds like she desperately needs an outlet, because there's two children with special needs, correct? So one by itself is enough. And I don't want to get ahead, but just thinking about my situation dealing with a child that was ill was very hard, very difficult. However, I was able to get away at times, whether it's to a conference to renew myself, refresh myself, you know, or a hotel room maybe downtown for a day. Makes a world of difference, you know. But she really needs an outlet. And then too, as you ladies have stated, go and speak with that husband. Get the wisdom of God. Get the wisdom of God. And I say this again, get the wisdom of God, because sometimes when we as women are bitter and we're on overload, then it's not going to come out. He's going to feel like you're talking at him, and then the outcome of that may not be so lovely. So I say again, get the wisdom of God. Hear God in this situation. And also, like they said, if you really love the children, remember sometimes things, it's not about us. It's not about us, but it's about God's plan. You know, he sees farther down the road. And that's what I would say. Just get the wisdom of God on this and talk to your husband, you know, to give him your heart. Just unload your heart. Be nice about it, you know, and don't be disrespectful or rude because you're bitter. You know, when things can come out a whole lot of, you know, a whole lot different. You know, if you're angry, things will come out a whole lot differently. You know, but get the wisdom of God on this.
Amen. Amen. I think those are wonderful responses. I would just say you definitely need an outlet. I know you said that you're kind of angry at God. Why did God put me in this situation? We must understand that God doesn't overpower us and make us go into any situation. That was a choice that you made. And so I would say go back to the choice and the reason why you fell in love with your husband and his children, because you knew of that, of his family, what you were taking on, and revisit that. I want to say too, you know, when you're bitter, the resentment, it means you're laying in bed, you're thinking about it, you're replaying these incidents over and over in your mind, you're stressing yourself out. It's time to open your mouth and speak, because you got bitter roots there, and that you're needing to uproot those so you can be a better you. I feel like you've lost your identity. You're taking on more than what you've actually thought it was about. And husband seemed like he has checked out of this situation. And so he needs to be very much a part. You're in it together. You married him. You didn't marry the children, but you did marry him. So he needs to stand up and be a part of raising these children. And that's just bottom line. And so I would say definitely find a way that you are getting that out, because this has turned laborious to you. It's like a labor. It's like you're getting up, got to go to work, got to do this, got to do that. And we know at times we work, but we don't want to work. You know, we doing it bitterly and angrily and things. And trust me, those children, they didn't ask to be in that situation. Again, two adults, your decision, you created the situation. So I get the help that you need. Don't expose the children to the anger, to the bitterness of that. They deserve to be loved. They are a gift. At the end of the day, children are a gift from God, and he's going to hold us accountable how we treat our gifts. So we need to be grown, you know, put on those grown women panties and take hold of this situation in a way that is going to be fruitful for the kids, fruitful for you, and pleasing to our Heavenly Father, okay? And so we bless you on today. We're definitely praying for you in the situation, praying for the other sister that left that information too, about the question she had about her friends. So we're just praying for y'all, okay? Because we all look at these questions like, woo, Jesus. But we truly thank you for it. We truly thank you for it, submitting the questions, and pray that something that we had said is a help to you guys, you know, has been a help. Hi again, this is Becca Wilson. I truly hope you have enjoyed our show today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time, you be blessed and have a great day.